Hey everybody, good evening, good morning. What did I post? I posted this like 3 o'clock. Good afternoon. Hi there, if you're watching it. I know you were waiting with bated breath for this to drop, so welcome to the new episode, everybody. You're here, you made it. This is Wish We Were Then. It's the podcast that's been doomed to repeat history so that you can learn from it. What we do here is we go back to a different year in the past every single week, and we tell you all about the, we have a very regimented show. It's like, what do we say? Well, we talk about news, we talk about TV, we talk about music, we talk about movies. A couple other things thrown in there, but those are the big points we like to hit here. And, who are the we? I'm Trey, and I'm joined by my friend Mark. How are you today, Mark?
I'm doing good. I'm excited for this year. We were in the prime of our lives, as they say.
Yeah, we were.
We're never going to have it better.
Indestructible.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sitting here, just sitting here hurts now. Back then, could have jumped off a building. I'd be fine. Probably did. I'm sure I did.
Yeah, and then this was going down Nostalgia Avenue over here. I feel like going through this year. I don't know. I just felt like I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. I feel like I forgot about most of the things that happened this year.
Yeah, I guess that's true. It did feel so recent that I kind of was like, oh shit, yeah, look at that. A lot of weird technology stuff, though. That's what I gotta say. A lot of surprising advances. It was a scary year.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things that felt like a less big deal looking back at it. When you're looking it up, it doesn't come up that often. You have to kind of search out the thing that was on everybody's mind that year. There's one thing that everybody was
talking about
themselves. Yeah, but they were all kind of hush-hush, I guess, about it. So that's why there's not a whole lot of it laying out there, because everyone was just quietly to themselves being like, I'm not thinking that's going to happen, but maybe that's going to fucking happen. Let's start getting into the year. Lake Vostok, located at the southern pole of cold in Russia. And this was a cold place. It's so named just for being cold. The surface of this lake is located 13,100 feet beneath a layer of solid ice. The lake water in this body of water has remained untouched. It's isolated for the last 20 million years. We don't know what's down there. A whole different ecosystem could be down there. Some scientists think it could be similar to the ecosystem of other planets because the shit's so old down there. The lake water has been allowed to be liquid this whole time because of the pressure of this millions and millions of years of ice that's built up over it has decreased the freezing point of the water at the bottom. Very scientific. Now, American scientists, as well as other groups of smart people around the world, are kind of asking Russia, don't do what they're thinking about doing. Russia wants to drill into this lake this year. And they're saying, wait till we have hot water drilling more accessible. There's different ways we can do this. Let's wait till the future. They're asking, we're not ready yet to dig into this thing. That's what the world is asking Russia to put this off, and Russia will just keeps pushing forward. They say, no, we're going to do this. We're digging into this. We're digging into this fucking lake. This science fiction movie start is happening. We're doing this. We're pushing our way through. So they do it. They drill down. This year, they make contact with the surface of that lake water that's been, again, untouched for 20 million years. The official account says that when they reached the water, they were drilling with a mixture of kerosene and freon to keep the drill lubricated and to keep the water from freezing as they were going down. Now those chemicals rushed into the lake as they busted into it. So it contaminated any sort of samples that they might have gotten. And they're not, basically the official account is they don't have anything to show for this. They fucked it up, and they keep going back to the same hole too. The rest of the world's like, now we have hot water drilling, we can try something else. And they say, oh, we're trying other methods. And they're like, yeah, but the hole you used is ruined and it's contaminated. So that's the official account. Now the unofficial account, me and Timeless Tony went there and did some real digging. What they uncovered is what the Mayans were afraid of. And it did, in fact, end the world. And that is why everything has been so fucking terrible since the year 2012, which we're about to go back to today.
I did not know that.
It's a real story, by the way.
I didn't know any of that.
a lot of times some pseudoscience mixed in there in my beginning openings. This one's 100% factual, even the ending. But yeah, that really did happen. They did dig into this hole. They found some ancient lake water, but they fucked it all up.
Is there recent accounts? I don't know if you did.
Yeah, like I said, that's they keep going back into it, and like they're still going to it, and everyone's like, yeah, but the hole you're using is that gross one.
Do you think it contaminated all of the water in there?
It's just that I mean, it's 13,000 feet down, and it's frozen, so anything that's down there is just staying there. It's not like they can scoop it out and start over. And who knows? I mean, the things that are, they also said there could be things that were a virus or something that could be activated by the kerosene and mixing with that water. Like there's just, we could have, anything we did fucked up that area now. It's a different thing than existed before.
Damn.
And that hole is going to have something that, I mean, if that stuff hasn't seen anything for 20 million years, yeah, even just splashing some kerosene on it changed the ecology of it and the biology of it. And those things are different than anything else that was in that lake, you know? So all a lost gambit.
Damn, that sucks.
Yeah. And they were like trying to get there for years too. Took a long time for them to get down to that water. They just ruined it. And like I said, everyone else was like, don't do this. It's a bad idea. And they're like, oh, it'll be fine.
It's so sad. As soon as we touch something, us humans, it automatically contaminates it.
That's a good point. Yeah, I think that like I connected it immediately to, that was the thing that ended the world. If you don't know, I think that it's something that we do kind of say. How prevalent do you think it is? People remembering that a lot of people thought the world was going to end in 2012.
I don't really hear anybody talk about it, but everybody has always predicted the end of the world. So I think when it doesn't happen, everyone's like another one and kind of writes it off.
That's a good point.
But I knew people who like had maps to like spots in the desert that were supposed to be safe. And they were like doomsday prepping for this. I don't know how many people would claim that they did that for this.
Yeah. I remember being, let's see, we were 20 or so at the time. The end date of the Mayan calendar was predicted to be 12/21 of 2025. Yep. 2012. The end date was 12. Yeah. Anyway,
12/21/12.
Yeah. So this was, but essentially what it was just another unit of measurement of time. Essentially, their time measurements is like day, then week, then month, then year, then every 100 years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think now in hindsight, all the things that I was looking up was like, oh yeah, well, of course things just end. But that was a huge basis of what everyone thought, that it was because the Mayan calendar ended, and that they were so like smart with like math. Like that was the only logic I ever heard anybody talk about. Never heard of anybody really having anything to say besides that.
Yes, definitely. That is how people were looking at it, and that's why everyone thought that. Because I think the thing is, like, there weren't Mayans walking around going, "No, that's not what we're saying." They just were all gone by this point. They hadn't made the next calendar because they didn't need it yet. They all died out a long time ago. We didn't ask why like that year calendar ended for them. They just stopped existing, I guess.
They stopped existing, or they stopped making it, and because they're like, maybe we'll make another one in 100 more years. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. If our society wiped out like tomorrow, our calendars would still exist to the end of 2026. We'd still have known it was going to go all the way to December of that year. The ones that we're using currently, the ones on our walls. Yeah. So then like historians would come in a couple months and be like, oh man, they predicted the end of the world was going to be December 31st of 2026. But that's just like what we had already worked out so far. We were going to get to 2027 when we got there. We just didn't need those calendars yet because we weren't using them.
Yeah.
So that's how it was explained to me now. That's also just some people interpreting some shit. Who knows? Maybe the Mayans I don't know. Maybe they did think the world was going to end and they were wrong. Anyway, on October 22nd, one of the big news stories of the year was Hurricane Sandy formed. First from a tropical wave. I didn't know how hurricanes formed. I didn't know they first started out as, I guess everything starts Start somewhere. Everyone's got to start somewhere. Hurricane Sandy was first just a wave, and then got bigger and bigger and bigger until eventually the wind got involved, and I guess that's it. And you're
What?
suddenly, yeah, that's how.
That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, like I said, it's just like a fucking an avalanche starts with a single
I thought it was like a storm
snowflake.
system.
Yeah, I don't know. That's it. I mean, this wave just starts rolling and
Just
gets
like a
bigger and
wave,
bigger.
a wave to the clouds that just
I
never. It's like a
suppose.
tsunami that never breaks on land.
Yeah, I don't know. Some sort of shit. We can look into hurricanes later if we want. I just know that it said it's formed from a tropical wave. So
Okay.
after this, you and I will dig into hurricanes and figure it out. It actually became a full-on hurricane on October 24th. So it started forming on October 22nd, became a hurricane on October 24th. First 2 days, just a wave. This is the largest Atlantic hurricane on record with a diameter of 1,150 miles. This thing caused $70 billion in damage, and the full death toll was 254 people across 8 countries. I actually didn't know it was primarily all in the U.S. Most of the deaths, like the vast majority of them. I kind of assumed it would have been a lot of those smaller, more island countries that kind of wipe through on its way to
over them. It went over Cuba, Haiti, Jamaica, and then later it went over the Bahamas on the 26th.
Yeah. The peak intensity was actually over Cuba on the 25th. It was a category 3 at that point. So all of those nations really did get bombarded. I guess it must be the fact that they're smaller and it just had more time to get over them. I think when it runs into a big landmass, there's more resistance to it. So that's just sort of battering the coast.
Maybe they're more. Are they more equipped for it? I mean, don't
that
they?
too.
They I don't know. Do they live in places that is way more susceptible to those things?
Yeah, it could be it. That's probably a good portion of it as well. We'll look up hurricanes after this. We'll find out. It hit Brigantine, New Jersey, which is near Atlantic City. That was on the 29th. And in the U.S. in total, there were 71 direct deaths, as well as 87 indirect deaths, and 2 people who were killed offshore that were basically in the United States. So altogether, 160 people in the U.S. lost their lives to this hurricane. Which actually I was looking up, and I think I didn't write it down because it wasn't as noteworthy as I thought. This is like the 14th or something like that, maybe 7th. I don't remember exactly, but not really that high up in our hurricanes, like as far as the damage it caused in the U.S. We've had a lot worse ones. Not to downplay this one. I was shocked that this one was so. I know it was so devastating. I mean, I remember it being horrible, and I just like, man, hurricanes are nuts, dude. That this isn't even the worst one.
Yeah, they are crazy.
I thought this would be 1 or 2, but no, it's like not even in the top 5. I don't believe.
We live in a crazy country. It's so big that just like shit is happening all the time. All the time. I feel like we're always doing some kind of natural disaster story.
Yeah.
Can we just have 1 year? Just kidding. I got another news story here. On September 11th, protests erupted in a bunch of different Islamic and Muslim countries because of a short film called Innocence of Muslims. But it was by these American guys, and it was just like mocking the Quran, and it had a depiction of Muhammad. So he was like in the entire film. And there's protests in Egypt, Libya, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Tunisia. Also in Libya, the U.S. consulate in Benghazi got attacked. A lot of people died because of it. 75 people died because of this video that somebody made.
Damn.
That's how seriously they take depicting Muhammad.
Yeah. Dang, I actually didn't hear about that. I mean, I heard about the Benghazi thing, but I didn't really know where it had originated. I didn't know it came from this.
Yeah, I didn't either. You can go watch it on YouTube. I watched it.
Oh wow, that's crazy. It's still up.
It's not like
that's interesting. It's one of those things that I think is very. I get that that's like so serious to them, but I obviously don't condone what they're doing about it.
It's crazy.
But
I mean,
I just my mind keeps going back to I remember on South Park, I believe, like they said they were gonna show Muhammad and ended up not doing it. Like they ended up backing down on it. I can't remember exactly the ins and outs of that one, but I
I
do
think they
remember on.
did it on the first air, and then they never aired it
Oh,
like
okay.
that afterwards.
Oh, okay. And I remember on Mind of Mencia, funnily enough, I remember him.
Really?
There was just a sketch where it was like all of these big. It was like a wrestling match between Jesus and Moses. He represented Judaism, I think, and then Muhammad was like was an invisible force, basically. Like all these people wrestling, and there was also like just Buddha and all these different representations of different faiths. We're all wrestling, and then it was like somebody got hit over the head, just sort of like pretending, miming it, and then they're like, "Oh, it's Muhammad. He came in." So, and then after the sketch, Mencia, he's talking to the audience, how he would always do that. He says, "Oh, Carlos, you back down. You wouldn't show them." He's like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, I didn't do it. I backed down. I'm not getting my head cut off. Fuck that shit. You're damn right I chickened out." Well, at least he's being honest about it. I don't fault him for that.
Yeah, right.
Any other things that you want to talk about on the news?
I got a good transition.
Okay.
On March, and say in March, ABC News airs a series of reports on pink slime, claiming that 70% of all ground beef in the United States has it in all of its supermarkets. The BPA files a defamation lawsuit against ABC in April, claiming that the reports misrepresented the safety and the quality of the FTB, LFTB, lean, finely textured beef. So it was like the pink slime stuff that they like
lean,
filled.
finely textured beef. Okay.
Yeah.
Finely textured. As fine as you can fucking get. It's so fine. It's just running out when you dump it. Runs out on the table if you spill it.
It's gross.
It's like liquefied meat, essentially.
Yeah, I'm not really. I guess.
What's the benefit of this? How do we get to this point that we're like, let's just fucking smush it down until it's mush and smush, and we just squirt it into molds and make fucking shit out of it? What's going on in the food industry that this was ever a concern? How do we get to this point, man?
How is that cheaper than? And where did it start to be like, let's get chemicals, let's put that in the food instead of stuff you're supposed to eat?
Like, so you know who does that? Drug dealers, man. They cut their shit. They fucking.
Oh yeah, that's true. But at least that's already chemicals and drugs.
That's what I'm saying. This is how they're worse than drug dealers. This
crazy.
Is nutrition. They're giving it to children. They're out there fucking. Hey, what's up, man? You want some gummy bears? Like, don't worry about what's in there. You're just gonna get them hooked. Terrible, this food industry.
All right, well, it doesn't get any better. So they're saying we lost a bunch of money because of you guys,
right?
And ABC was basically like, yeah, that was the point.
Yeah, it's what an expose is, asshole.
And then later on in 2017, ABC announced a settlement, reportedly paying at least $177 million, marking the largest amount ever paid in a media defamation case in the U.S.
Well, fuck, that sucks. Unless it really was being blown out of proportion. I guess the courts can't just say if they were really doing that, because that's what exposés are. You can't. There's all those things where people go into like local businesses and expose them for being shitty to their customers. The businesses can't just go, "Hey, you fucked it. We're not getting as many customers now."
Yeah.
The news goes, "Yeah, you don't deserve customers." So I think that there must have been some level of this not actually being that bad. I know for sure there was a video that circled the internet for a while. It was making the rounds of like, this is what's going into your food, and it was showing all pink goo coming out. And then it's like,
I remember those.
I remember the comments like, bitch, that's the Tubby custard machine from Teletubbies. It's just the pink shit coming out of that. Like, oh, okay. Actually fooled me. I thought that's what our meat looked like inside.
I remember seeing it on the news. I don't know if it was ABC, but I remember seeing news stuff about it. Maybe other articles and other people picked it up shortly after this and before the defamation case or whatever. But I remember seeing other articles on this stuff.
Yeah, for sure. It was making its way around the internet that people were starting to worry about. This is what that pink slime they've been talking about is. And I was like, oh no, that's just Tubby custard. But the fact that you are worried about this is alarming. That might be your pink slime, but no, don't worry about it. It's pretend food. Well, fuck, that looks how bad is the real shit? I bet you it looks less appetizing than tubby custard.
Right.
Actually, you know, it does look remarkably like tubby custard. So this is a good segue. In February, Jack in the Box introduced their bacon milkshake. You remember that happening?
No,
that was like a huge deal. Everyone was all.
I don't remember that.
The height of people being so obsessed with bacon.
There was that. Remember the Denny's whole thing? The Denny's had a whole menu based on bacon.
Oh, no, I don't remember that one. I remember these things. Because the other one I was going to say as well was in June, Burger King would come out with a bacon sundae. Not quite as bad as a bacon milkshake. The milkshake at Jack in the Box came out to 773 calories. And the sundae at Burger King was only 510. So that was the lighter option. If you're trying to watch your figure, go to Burger King for your bacon ice cream stuff. But yeah, bacon was just all the rage in the 2010s. People were very obsessed with it. I remember just seeing like bacon flavored toothpicks and bacon scented cologne and bacon toothpaste, all that kind of shit. So yeah, Carl's Jr. in July 4th, special day for the country. It's a day that we all get to have free amazing grilled cheeseburgers amazing grilled cheese bacon burger at Carl's Jr. to anyone who came dressed as Spider-Man. This was to promote the Amazing Spider-Man movie. We'll talk about that a little later.
I wonder how many people actually did that.
I'm sure a lot of people. I vaguely remember this. I feel like there was a rule that you couldn't wear a mask.
Okay.
Because they didn't want a bunch of masked people running into the restaurant. Sense. Yeah, well, crime. That was just an invitation to be robbed.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like the cops come and they say, "What did he look like?" You're not going to believe this. He looked like Spider-Man. You hear one guy in the back goes, "I knew it. He's a menace. Get me pictures. I've been telling you for years."
On May 21st, Carl Jr. came out with the ice cream burger, BRRRGER, and it was a patty that was a scoop of chocolate ice cream with 2 sugar cookies as the buns, and it had food coloring syrup with red for ketchup, yellow for mustard, and green for lettuce, maybe. But it was in a test market in Orange County, California. It sold for $2. You got to look up the picture of this thing.
When you said syrup, you specifically said food coloring. So was there not like
It had to be food coloring. It said.
Oh, I see. Okay, here we go. Let's see, how do we get a full size? Actually, I want this thing like big. I've gone ahead and pulled this up now, and we're looking at it on the screen. So if you're watching the video on YouTube or elsewhere, you can see this thing is pretty fucking gross looking now that I'm looking at it. You described it. I thought, that doesn't sound so bad. And it's exactly what you described, but it looks so much worse than it did in my mind.
I think they didn't need...
Okay, it says it's icing. I see.
Oh, okay. I don't think they need the icing.
Yeah, but if they don't have it, then it's just a sugar cookie with ice cream, which is not bad. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's not an ice cream burger. You can't call that an ice cream burger.
It's true.
There's no way that every one you get has like the icing oozing out like that perfectly so you see all the colors. It's got to just be buried in there so when you take a bite, you kind of see it in there. It's definitely not worth the time or the effort to do that.
Yeah. Hey, it's only $2. I mean, nothing's $2 anymore, so...
How much do you think that would be now? $12.
$8.
Yeah. Okay. That's funny. Carl's Jr. and everybody just doing gross stuff with ice cream this year. Okay, well, I have a couple of studies here from the scientific world of food, and that'll lead us into the next section of our podcast, which is more science-based. So a lot of kind of bummer news in science this year, too. There was well, first off, we'll start off with some good news. There was a meta-analysis of 42 previous studies that showed chocolate may be good for the heart. Something I've heard before. People say some chocolate is good for your heart. That's nice. That's good to know. So get out there, eat some chocolate, people. It's like
some
chocolate. Yeah, exactly. Some chocolate covered Cheerios is probably the best thing you could do. You'll live to be 100 if you eat chocolate covered Cheerios.
There you go. Dark chocolate covered Cheerios.
Mm-hmm. No oxidants either that you would have, because it's all antioxidants. A study of 120,000 people by Harvard showed that a diet high in red meat can shorten life expectancy by increasing the chance of cancer and heart problems. Another thing I think we kind of all suspected, high red meat intake is not good for your heart, or it increases the chance of cancer too. That was kind of a shock to me.
Yeah, it's shocking. I wonder why.
Yeah. I don't know. That's funny too. Actually, now I'm thinking about it. I just suddenly remembered in I Think You Should Leave. There's a part where Tim Heidecker's character is like, "Oh, it's the cigars that are going to give you cancer. It's this T-bone steak sheet that's going to give you cancer." And I remember when he said that, I was like, I don't get the T-bone steaks thing. I get the cigars thing. Well, he had heard this study apparently. Also, binge drinking high amounts on the weekends and abstaining during the week, as opposed to just drinking a little bit each day, I guess is better for you than doing it this way. Binge drinking reduces your brain's structural integrity. So it's like physically weakening your brain.
Damn.
Yeah, and don't stay away from doing that, folks.
Yeah, right.
Also, a University of Connecticut researcher who had been extolling the benefits of red wine for your health turns out to have lied about all of it. So red wine, not that good for your health.
Bummer.
Another one. Yeah, see, I had heard chocolate.
Like red wine, so
I had heard chocolate and red wine are like good for your heart. So it's like that's a nice pairing, but I prefer red wine to white wine.
Yeah, I wouldn't order it.
Every once in a while, I like when you have one that has like super high tannins in it, so it just feels like you're just like sucking on a grape skin. You're like it's all super dry in your mouth. I love that for some reason. I feel like I can't get it out of my mouth, like it's cemented the inside of my mouth or something. Delicious.
Oh man, right. Yeah, it's a acquired taste, I think.
This last thing is sort of tangentially related. When you smoke weed, you get the munchies and stuff. So and it also has the same sort of effect as drinking. So I included it right here. Smoking weed under the age of 18 leads to decreased IQ. Not like just like people are dumber, but like that the people exhibited like an IQ loss of 8 points if they had been.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, like they started under 18 and they like measured them until they were like in their 30s, I want to say.
How many IQ points do you think we lost?
I was just thinking that. I was like, oh, so unfortunately, I think that we might be a little dumber than we should. Maybe we shouldn't be the ones doing this show. Bummer there, but let's get into some other technology news, other science-based stuff. All right, so here's a list of some stuff that made me think. Like I said, maybe the Mayans, they might have been onto something. Maybe we all are dead right now. We're living inside of a computer or something, because there were like a lot of weird breakthroughs that were happening in the world of science that for some reason are like kind of feel like a lot of these aren't still around. A lot of this had to do with stem cells. That was something people were worried about. Maybe the elite brushed this all under the rug and they moved on their own. So I don't know. Let your brain wander while I run through this list. It's a long thing here. Okay. International researchers halted muscle repair decline in aging mice using a just common drug. In Pittsburgh, genetically modified mice that aged quicker than normal lived 2 to 3 times longer when injected with stem cells. UCLA genetically engineered stem cells to kill HIV in mice. In Minnesota, the Thunder God vine, which is like an ancient Chinese drug, like an old-timey Chinese medicine, was used to kill pancreatic tumors in mice. In Princeton, there was a compound that restored motor function and longevity to fruit flies with Alzheimer's. I didn't even know fruit flies had Alzheimer's.
What?
Researchers
How old did they get to the point where they need?
It's like the last 7 minutes of their life. They're just like, what the fuck's happening? Flying into walls. Researchers in Spain extended the life of adult mice by 24% with gene therapy. Cerebral palsy in rabbits was improved by nanotech drugs. Northwestern University used a brain computer interface that restored naturalistic movements in paralyzed rhesus monkeys. Israel extended the life of mice 15% using a special enzyme. In Zurich, paralyzed rats regained the ability to walk and sprint after electrochemical therapy. UK, they restored the hearing in deaf animals using stem cells. They also used Trojan horse therapy to cure prostate cancer in mice. Cambridge healed paralyzed dogs by injecting them with cells grown from their own nasal linings. And Cambridge repaired multiple sclerosis damage in mice by injecting them with the blood of younger mice.
What the fuck? Damn, that's crazy.
You hear so much HIV, cancer, paralyzation. We just sort of figured out how to cure all of that this year using stem cells.
But it's been 14 years. We've done nothing with it.
Right? Kind of shocking and a little freaky, huh?
Yeah.
Here's
what happened to all that?
Some of this, it wasn't just confined to, that was all the animal shit. They repaired damaged heart tissue with infusions of the patient's own stem cells. In New York, scientists grew healthy bone using embryonic stem cells. Massachusetts, they used stem cells to ease degenerative blindness in 2 volunteers. Boston, a bone marrow transplant cured HIV in 2 men. Colorado, they found out that grapeseed extract kills head and neck cancer in mice. I meant to move that back up to the mice section. Oh, well. A couple more mice things. Alzheimer's symptoms in mice in Cleveland were cured by skin cancer drugs.
What the frick?
Israel grew
he's still dying of cancer, but doesn't have Alzheimer's anymore.
Yeah, maybe they were like, "Fuck, we didn't cure this poor mouse was fucked up when it showed up here." Israel grew heart muscle cells from skin cells. Japan, they grew a tiny functioning liver from stem cells. I wonder how small that was. And in Sweden, a patient received lab-grown vein made from their own stem cells. So this is
is a liver big enough for a mouse.
They were like ready. This mouse is coming here next. We know he has a bad liver. But yeah, all of that going on also. So it wasn't just confined to the world of animals. Humans were also getting new leases on life using, like I said, a lot of stem cells. At the time, people talked about stem cell research all the time, and everyone was really afraid of it because mostly the claims were like, "Oh, you have to go and get it from fetuses." That's what a lot of people said.
Yeah,
I feel like.
Well, I don't think that's the case anymore.
This in 2012, to put a button on all of my stuff here, the UK cultivated stem cells from a patient's blood, giving each person their own personal source of stem cells.
From their own blood?
Yes. So we should be living 25% longer compared to just that was one of the claims. Not even just all the diseases it cured. It made mice live longer.
That's crazy.
And we have them fucking in us.
Man. Well, they say like fasting does that, like helps your body produce that stuff. Like 48 hour or something like that fasting. Because your body eats all basically the bad cells, the dead cells first. And then it starts using
regenerating.
It starts reusing your actual like fresh cells.
That makes sense. Yeah, it's like we've just been riding on all these old. It's sort of it's cleaning house like at a company. You're like, dude, Bernard's been here for too long, and he's really slow. If we let him go, we can just have some new blood.
Yeah,
the rest of these guys are gonna have to pick up the pace a little bit, but we'll be doing better.
We'll get there.
Yeah. So this is one of those things that makes it hard to think. The global elite found this out. And they keep it from us because what the fuck? Why were this was all like news story. This was just the science that I was going through from the year. It's not like I went to stemcellresearch.com or some shit. I didn't know this was going on. This was just all the science stuff I was learning as I was looking up this year and compiling a fucking huge list of shocking shit to me.
So there are private companies that do stem cells. Ways to Well in Texas, actually, by you. They do stem cells and they'll like inject stem cells into different parts of your spine, or like anything that really needs help rejuvenating, especially after surgery and stuff.
Yeah.
But there are companies now that are doing it, like private companies. Costs a pretty penny, but I'm sure, I don't really know, but
I'm trying to think. It seems like I could probably just like drink some of my own blood and I'll be okay. That's what it sort of seemed like. Nah, I'm not a scientist, but
you got to go on a fast first, and then the first thing you drink is your own blood after the fast.
I think that I'm gonna live forever.
Figured it out.
Yeah, that's why vampires, like, they're not drinking other people's blood; they're drinking their own.
This whole time.
Okay, that's all the science I had. So, on February 22nd, I've actually mentioned this before. The PlayStation Vita. That's so funny. It just was a joke one time I mentioned on an episode. It launched in North America and Europe. The price was 250 bones. Ever played the Vita? It's like just like a more fancy PSP, I guess.
No, I never did.
It's got like some extra touch sensors or some shit. It was trying to be a little bit more DS-like. I loved the PSP, but never got into the Vita. I was too old. I was 20. I didn't need a game system. Plus, also phones at this point kind of were, taking the place of. I still think that handheld systems are way better than playing on phones. I don't really like playing games on phones, but phone games took over.
Yeah, they were super popular.
Yeah, that's yeah, totally killed the market for things like the Vita and even the DS and stuff. There's not like there's a new Game Boy.
Yeah, it's true.
On the 18th of November, the Wii U would launch in North America for $299. It's only $50 more than the PlayStation Vita. I think if you're looking at them in a comparable manner, you're probably going to go with the Wii U. It seems to be more of a like real console. It's the first 8th generation console. No idea where we are now or anything like that. It's like, damn, 8. Fuck, it's meaningless at this point. It competed against the PS4 and Xbox One. That was the 8th generation. Those both came out the next year. This is Nintendo's lowest selling home console, and the second lowest selling console of theirs overall, behind the Virtual Boy, which I guess they're kind of counting as a handheld or mobile thing, even though you couldn't really move around with that.
Yeah.
The Virtual Boy also was mentioned. Both the Virtual Boy and the PlayStation Vita were both talked about in the 1995 episode.
Oh, shit.
That's all I have for video games. I got just a little toy, just one toy to talk about. That was toys. I just saw the Barbie fashion doll. The Barbie photo fashion doll. Barbie fashion doll, be like every fucking Barbie in the world. The Barbie photo fashion doll. She had a camera in her back, and the T-shirt on the front part of it had a screen that displayed whatever you took a picture of behind it. So you take a picture of your dog, and then like the picture on her shirt is a dog.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty neat. That just reminded me of, I saw a lot of things. I didn't really write them down because I was focused so much on all the stem cells and like medical stuff when I was going through the science. I kept seeing a lot about like nanotech fibers that they were working on throughout 2012 that were supposed to give us T-shirts with screens on them and shit. Like, that's what I kept saying. This might be something that leads, like 3 or 4 different times I saw things like that. And I kept thinking I should have written that down. Well, I didn't, but Barbie I did write down. She had a thing on her shirt, and that was $50 for this photo fashion Barbie.
That's cool.
Yeah, it seemed pretty neat. That was the fun hot toy item I saw, but let's get out of that and on to the sports section, huh?
Let's move on to the big boy games. All right, well, let's get through some of the champions of this year. World Series champions were the San Francisco Giants, and the Super Bowl champions were the New York Giants.
Wow.
A lot of Giants going on around here.
Yeah.
The NBA champions were the Oklahoma City Thunder, and the Stanley Cup champions were the Los Angeles Kings. Then the Summer Olympics happened in London this year.
Yeah, speaking of world champions.
Yeah.
Like a full-on world games happening this year.
And our boy Michael Phelps on top of his game.
Yeah, he becomes the biggest world champion ever, really.
Yeah. He wins his 19th Olympic medal, becoming the winningest.
That's funny. That's funny. That's a word. That's the proper word, is winningest. I hate. That's
the winningest Olympic athlete of all time. He surpassed the record holder as a Russian gymnast, Larissa Latania.
I didn't know who had it before. Yeah, he ended up with 4 gold and 2 silver, and so his total for the whole games was 22. So he just 19 was what he hit the record, and then 22 is what he ended up at this Olympics with.
Dang.
But he would go on to compete in one more Olympics, so he's not done yet.
He has to be the record holder still, right?
He just added more medals on the next round, but we'll talk about that at a different time. That one would still be in our scope, actually, at this point, so we could still hit that one possibly this year.
Yeah, it's true.
The U.S. came home with the most medals overall at 105, and they also took home the most gold medals at 48. So the U.S. is usually on top when it comes to these medal counts.
Yeah.
And thanks in no small part to our boy Phelps, though.
Yeah, definitely put in his share.
Mm-hmm. More than his fair share.
And then some.
Last thing about this Olympics I'll say is that in the years since, the athlete samples of their blood, or I don't know, however they were testing them, their drug test samples have been retested. At the time, most of them came back pretty clean, but 44 medals have since been stripped from winners because of finding out, better testing. They found out they actually were doping. A total of 130 athletes were disqualified overall from the games, retroactively.
Damn.
Yeah. 50 of those athletes were Russian. Just to say. They can't keep their chemicals out of shit this year. Yeah, they're athletes. They're old, ancient sea holes. Keep your chemicals to yourself, Russia. You're fucking everything up. They just keep putting their chemicals where they don't belong. That's all I have to say about the Olympic Games.
Another story of stripping honors. Lance Armstrong would be stripped of his 7 Tour de France titles.
Oh, no.
Yeah, his former teammates came out and testified against him and said that he was, in fact, using the juice.
Well, I didn't know that they narked on him.
I think that it came down to a court thing, and it was they got put under oath, or they were asked to testify, and they would, I don't know. Maybe they were pissed. Maybe they were like, this guy is over here claiming medals, and I'm right behind him.
Yeah. Damn, that's crazy.
Screw that guy, you know?
Yeah, it's also weird that's his teammates just told on him. That wasn't just something that they could test him for. We tested these guys years later to strip them of their medals. Lance Armstrong's currently doing it. We just need someone to say he is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Weird. Damn, that's crazy though. Very similar thing. Oh, just hope Michael Phelps. I mean, he's so far Michael Phelps. The only thing he seems to have done is smoked a little weed. So he's just dumber. He's eight IQ points lower than he could be. But other than that, he's clean.
Maybe it made him a better swimmer. He's like, I don't think as much. Just go, man.
I go that way, and I turn. Everyone else is like, they're worried. The weight of the world is weighing them down a little bit when they're out there. Just geopolitical climate is really weighing heavy on their souls.
Ignorance is bliss, man. I'm telling you.
I'm out here on the world stage. I'm representing our country against these other countries. What does that mean? What does that have to say? Why we're here shaking hands with our enemies politically, and then Michael Phelps is out there I'm gonna swim so fast.
He's like, dude, look at the water.
Alrighty, let's see. Last thing I want to say about sports is on October 14th, Felix Baumgartner rode 24 miles up into the stratosphere above New Mexico in a helium balloon, then jumped out of the balloon. We've talked about this guy on a different episode. In our 1960 episode, Joseph Kittinger would break the record for the highest balloon flight and subsequent jump. He then would go on to coach Felix Baumgartner for this jump. He was in his ear giving him directions like, keep fucking falling, dude. You got this.
I remember talking about that.
Yes. So this is the follow-up to that story. Felix was in the air post-balloon, jumping out of the balloon to the time he touched the ground. 10 minutes of his life was spent in the air. Fucking gnarly. That's so crazy.
Damn.
About 4.5 of it was just free falling. Tom Petty style, just going. That's
crazy.
How long is free falling, you think? You think you just listened to the song and then as soon as it ended, you hit the chute? That's what I would have done. He was
Don't
the first
even have
human.
that other guy in your ear. Just like, yeah, listening
like,
to you.
Keep waiting, keep waiting. He's like, yeah, 'cause I'm free. Are you hearing me? Free falling. Can he hear me? I'm telling him to keep falling. He's not listening. He was the first human to break the sound barrier, which is a whopping 767 miles per hour.
Jeez.
That's what the sound barrier is. He got a good deal faster than that.
How does that feel, falling like that? Like being just falling like that? Because it's not like you're like going that fast in like a jet or something.
Yeah.
It's just you against.
I feel like it's probably gonna suck. You gotta imagine like that air hitting you that fast. Probably feels like a bag of hammers just rolling against you over there.
And then it's like, how many G's is that? Are you hitting G's at that point? Like, how?
You're on F's at that point. Fuck. His maximum speed was 834 miles per hour. So that's actually
damn.
He not just got above the sound barrier. He fucking smashed it. This was a funny little bit of trivia for this story. A man named Daniel Hogan would file a lawsuit in October of 2010. Prior to this happening, it was a couple of years before it occurred. He claimed that he came up with the idea of parachuting from the edge of space and that they stole it. Because this was like a Red Bull event. Red Bull was the one putting this on. And he claimed that Red Bull stole the idea for him to jump from the edge of space. I was like, that doesn't seem like an idea that you could claim. I'm going to jump from up high. Yeah, no fucking shit. That's what everyone does. Everyone's going to keep going until you're higher than the guy. Like, no one else could have thought of that.
Right.
But they ended up settling out of court in June of 2011. So they gave him some sort of money for this. I thought
maybe he actually was doing something with it.
I don't know. I guess.
Maybe it was like, I don't know.
Like they snaked him a little bit, maybe.
I don't know. Maybe he like maybe he presented them with like, here's my balloon. You know what I mean? Or like, this is how he gave them the math to do it. I don't know.
He could have just been somebody who, I don't know, maybe he just was like, hey, you should have Felix Baumgartner jump from space and break the record from Joseph Kittinger. He can help coach him. And they're like, okay, we will. And he's like, hey, you fucking need to tell people I said that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I don't
know. There was a little bit of controversy surrounding this as well about the fact that the FAA and NASA both set the edge of space at 50 miles. So he was only 24 miles up. So he was not like officially at the edge of space, but that's how they kept belling it. And some people were most scientists and stuff were like, it's not actually the edge of space, you know. I just kept reading that scientists were sort of like up in arms over it. Like, all right, thanks guys. Okay. Appreciate it. You just jumped from really high up. That's what we were excited about. But I remember people saying, oh, this guy's going to jump from space.
Yeah, that's what everyone said.
Yeah, and I remember thinking that I don't think you can jump from space. You would just be in space at that point. You just jump out. He's like, oh, I went too high. He just floats away.
Yeah, at what point can you like get a balloon through what part of the atmosphere? Does it just like stop at some point?
Yeah, or do you just probably would just like bounce against the
like you think that next, balloon just like floated off into space after he jumped off it?
It's just bouncing against the ozone layer that it hit. Like ding, 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 ding. It just sits up there like at the top of a supermarket. Yeah, just a balloon just up at the ceiling. The live stream of this event was watched by 9.5 million people, which set the record for live stream with the most concurrent views ever on YouTube. So big watched event for YouTube and for Red Bull. Congratulations. Okay, well, let's get on to television. And what was the most watched event on there for the year 2012? Well, it was fucking boring as hell. The 2010 era is like weirdly easy to predict what's going to happen. It was NCIS at number 1 and Sunday Night Football at number 2. I'm so shocked that NCIS is such a fucking popular show. Number 1 in the whole country. That's so weird to me. I get that some people like it, but it just is that. It's weird to me that it's number 1.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't get it. I really don't. Old boomers. I don't know what else to say. I don't know how else everyone likes that.
I feel like it's the same crowd that all. You know what? I think it is. It's the crowd that all grew up watching Matlock and Magnum PI and all of these other types of shows that they used to like. And this is like the one version of all of those condensed. Is like all we have left is NCIS. That's the type of show there is like that we used to watch. Every single show was like this. That's all I can think of.
Yeah, I
It's
guess
got a
that's a
little
good
bit of
point.
humor mixed in there. It's got just the exciting stuff, but not too much. It's not too edgy. It's just the right amount of fun. But anyway, NCIS LA and Big Bang Theory would both go from number 7 and 8 to all the way up to number 4 and 3. I don't know why they rose so dramatically halfway through the year, but NCIS LA and Big Bang Theory got much more popular midway through the year, which would drop both Dancing with the Stars and American Idol out of the top couple spots.
I thought you were gonna say American Idol.
Yeah, this was the end of the American Idol times. Like they had a couple years, mid 2000s and onward, and now at this point we're starting to see them kind of drop down. Thought that was interesting. Not a whole lot of debut shows that were of note this year. The Catfish TV show, I remember that being a big deal. People talked about. I think Catfish is still a part of our vernacular socially. When you trick someone online.
Yeah.
The movie came out in 2010, but really the show is what people know as catfishing, like where the term comes from was from this show. It was a documentary-based show on MTV. For those who don't know, that's where the term comes from. Is this guy documented him? The first was himself in a movie where he was documenting his experience with meeting someone online or something like that. I don't even remember if it was really necessarily dating, but probably. Catfish, funny. You know who likes Catfish? The guys on Duck Dynasty. That show came out this year. They like eating catfish. That was a really popular show.
It was super popular for no reason.
Yeah, weird. I'm surprised that wasn't number 1, to be honest with you.
You're right.
Even when we do 2013, I wouldn't be surprised if Duck Dynasty is number 1. Similar people, lots of similar beards on both shows. Doomsday Preppers also came out this year. And I've never seen that, but it was a good year for their show to come out.
Yeah, seriously. They probably planned that.
I'm guessing there might have been some planning involved. Veep came out this year. It was pretty critically acclaimed and well-liked show.
Yeah, I remember that show.
I never saw it, but
it's pretty good.
I'll tell you what I did watch a lot. Probably one of the shows I watched the most from this year was definitely Key and Peele.
Yeah, great show.
One of the funniest shows ever. Like those are two of the funniest like sketch comedy writers that have ever existed, I would say.
Yeah, they're hilarious.
I love that they got their due, sort of. I mean, they were on Mad TV when we were kids, both of them. And Mad TV, we've talked about before. We thought it was funny when we were kids, but it didn't. It's not like nobody really went on to the great stardom from that show necessarily. Everyone worked for forever who was on it, but nobody went on to do movies and shit. And it just was a long time later that Key and Peele came out, and that kind of gave these guys a platform to go on. And now Keegan-Michael Key is in every other movie, and Jordan Peele is directing super sick horror films all the time. So
yeah,
I think that's really cool that it gave them both this jumping off point to go on to do different stuff. All right, let's see. For children's shows, you got, first off, let's say for little kids, Sophia the First, I know was very popular. I've never seen it, but I feel like they had like a Disney show, like a show at Disneyland. Yeah, have you ever seen it?
Yeah, in passing, but
I mean, some of those shows,
an episode with her or something, but
I haven't seen a kids show in a very long time. But there was stuff that my younger siblings would watch that I was like, this is pretty cool actually. Like Bob the Builder's dope that it's all claymation. That's pretty neat. And there were different Dora the Explorer. This is a good show that teaches you Spanish and stuff. So like I thought there was some merit to a lot of kids shows. I never saw Sophia the First though, so I don't know if there was anything special about it or if it just was. I don't know if they still do.
It was just a show.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any real hook to kids shows anymore.
No, they're very just bright colors and stuff.
Nothing original or unique.
Yeah.
Legend of Korra also came out this year. I saw the first couple episodes. I didn't stick with it though.
I watched the first season or two. It was cool, but I didn't finish it.
Yeah, I mean, I loved the original show, and it was good. I don't know why I never kept up with it. I always feel like I should go back and watch it. I just never get around to it. And then there was one more cartoon that came out this year that I don't know. I've never seen it actually, but Gravity Falls. And I had a feeling you were going to wear that hat.
I love that show. It's so good. It's really well written. Yeah, you got to watch it, man.
I really need to. Megan and I were just talking about Adventure Time. She was saying that she's like, you definitely. And I know everyone always told me I would have liked that show. I never checked it out. and it was I liked regular shows, so I know I liked things that were kind of similar to that, and just there were a couple of these that were on Cartoon Network, and I always think that about like regular show or I mean Adventure Time, and Gravity Falls is one that's a little less ubiquitous than Adventure Time, but it's one that people speak very highly of.
Yeah, it's really good.
There's like a
And
lot
it's
of
like only 2 seasons, so it has like a
oh
start
really
and an end. Yeah,
oh
it's like
I
a
didn't know that.
storyline. Yeah,
Well, then I definitely will check it out. It's one of those things. It's Adventure Time. I think is kind of a pretty long show, and there's like spin-offs
yeah,
and
it's
stuff.
like still going on, I'm sure. But no, this Gravity Falls is there's a
Hmm.
storyline and it happens and it's over. It's nice.
Oh, I'm gonna have to watch that then, because that does that's appealing to me. I like shows that have a story to tell, and they know when they're done telling it. And it's not like, and then also fuck.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, let's get out of here. Let's be done with the TV now.
Let's move on to the singings
All
and the
right,
ramblings.
let's get the fat lady to start singing. It's not
Please.
over yet. It's just getting started. The music section. Okay, we're going to run down the top 5 songs on the Billboard charts. If you want to follow along, if you've ever been interested in what was going on in the music world in the year 2012, you can listen to our playlist that's on Spotify. It features the top 10 songs off of the Billboard Hot 100 for the year-end chart. Then it features a smattering of songs from the 100 all the way to number 50, which on our list is Burn It Down by Linkin Park. That was number 100 for the year's end. After that, there's some other stuff we'll talk about later. There's a link to this playlist both on our Instagram bio and also in the YouTube video description. I'm going to have a link to the playlist. I just decided to start doing that, so check there, folks. This playlist is right at hand for you to check out. And if you're listening on Spotify, the top 5 songs will be available underneath you. It says featured in this episode. Those 5 songs are right there. So all of this music is right at your fingertips, folks. But don't go away yet. Keep listening to us as we talk. All right. Let's start off with number 5.
All right. Number 5, Lights by Ellie Goulding. Released on March 13th, 2011. It reached number 2 on the Billboard 100 after 33 weeks on the chart. And it was originally in a bonus track on an iTunes edition of the debut album. The song was then re-edited for inclusion on a re-release version of Bright Lights.
Yeah, it's had a weird many different times because it was those and then some other ones too. So it was first the bonus track on the UK and German iTunes editions of her debut album Lights. So only in the UK and Germany was this a bonus track on iTunes only. Then it was re-edited to be included on the reissue album called Bright Lights, as you said. Which is funny that this the album was called Lights. This was a bonus track for some places first, and then the second time around they included the song. That's the name of the album. Is weird. And then after that, it was included as a bonus track on the international edition of her second album, Halcyon. So it was also a track on her next album as well, and then also on its reissue, Halcyon Days. So it's been included on 4 different album releases in different places on those albums,
but not like as a single or not even a part of the album. There were in additions to.
Yeah, a lot of times it was bonus tracks. I think the only one it was like fully on, and it was a single for, I believe, is the reissue Bright Lights.
Okay. Yeah,
Other than that, it's all just weird, like included on this album, edited in for the Germans only, and for the international edition of their second album. Just weird. It was like strange, like, but it made it popular. I guess they just kept figuring out how to get it back out there and keep pumping up the numbers and getting more life out of the song, which I guess ended up being a smart thing to do.
Yeah, it worked out for him. She said that the song was inspired by her childhood fear of the dark.
Okay.
And
seems like it makes sense. Yeah. I could see that. I guess I'll believe her.
Take a word for it.
It took, after 29 weeks, it got to the top 5, which was the longest climb to the top 5, not aided by a country to pop crossover situation. So it's like most of the time, if it took a long time to get there after release, it's because it was a popular country song that eventually broke its way into the pop charts. This was just came out as a pop song and took that long. It's the longest to have done so.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Is that a good thing or?
Yeah,
I don't
I
know
would
if
say
I would say
so.
yes in the long run, but I mean,
If you are, if
it's a
you're not,
frustrating award to have.
yeah, but if you're like a well-known artist or somebody who's been around for a long time, that's got to kind of suck. But if you like, this is just how people are getting to know you. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's true.
People liked me enough to keep me around. I wasn't a flash in the pan that they went, oh, what happened to Ellie Goulding? And they kept going, no, we have to hear this again. But it was mostly her record company being like, you guys trust us. This is a good song. What do you think, Germany? You tell the world. You get out there and tell everybody. We're gonna send this out again. The 30th song ever to spend a full year on the Hot 100. Not that many songs in the course of history have stayed a full year. This was only number 30.
Damn.
Okay, let's jump on to number 4. This is Payphone by Maroon 5 featuring Wiz Khalifa. Came out April 16th of 2012. Peaked again at number 2. Another one at number 2. It's kind of interesting how sometimes you have a year where there are multiple songs in the top 5 that didn't actually hit number 1 for the year. This one was 2 for 6 non-consecutive weeks. It was kept from the top spot by 2 different songs that we will mention later. One by a artist named Gautier and the other one Carly Rae Jepsen. So it's on the charts that says, it would have been number 1 probably, but it's just that those 2 came out this year. It was the 77 biggest song for the decade year-end charts. Benny Blanco, he reached out to Wiz Khalifa because he was trying to, quote, throw a wrench in the Maroon 5 sound, going with an artist that like they wouldn't have normally gone with or something, I guess. That's pretty much all I could dig up about the song. Nothing that interesting, to be honest, about like the actual like recording or anything else about the song. But I found out something cool about a different version of this song that came out. April 17th of 2012, there was a version by an artist, I guess you could say, in air quotes, by the name of Precision Tunes. This was in the UK, where the release of the single was set for June. So, it came out in April in the US. The internet exists at this point, so UK audiences are aware of the song. They're listening to it, but they don't have a place to buy it. So when they go to iTunes, which was still very popular to do at the time, they get on there, they search up Payphone. The first version which was released was this song by Precision Tunes, where they basically are recreating the song. Like how when you do karaoke, it'll be like the Cara Fun version or whatever, or the Sing King version. So it's like all the same notes and shit, but without the singing part. This was like that, but the guy was just doing his version of Adam Levine. And that version of the song debuted at number 83 on their charts, and then the next week hit number 9. So this weird like knockoff version of the song hit the top 10 before the Maroon 5 version ever came out in the UK. So like
that's
a different
so
artist.
Awesome.
Yeah, a different artist in the UK hit the top 10 with Payphone prior to Maroon 5.
Good for that guy.
Yeah, pretty wild. In the US, the songwriters have a say on which version of the single gets released first, which I didn't know. So if you write the song and Willie Nelson says, oh, I want to do this song, but then whoever, why did I say Willie Nelson? What a weird person to go with first. But then Maroon 5 also wants to do it. You can say, sorry, Willie Nelson, you have to wait. Maroon 5's version is the one I want to come out first. And he has to wait to release his until they release theirs. But in the UK, there's no such law. So they were able to release this Precision Tunes version of it. Maroon 5 would then release theirs the next week instead of waiting all the way to June. And they'd hit number 1. So it was just like, the UK in
that guy make money off it.
Yeah, he was successful.
Yeah.
Actually, there's this chart show that like on TV. You know how in the 60s and stuff, people would watch Top of the Pops, or like American Bandstand was our version of it, where it was a recap show of like the top songs of the week they would watch on TV back in the 60s and 70s and stuff. And I guess they still like music video countdown shows were bigger later. Well, they still do those kind of things in the UK. We don't really have recap chart shows anymore on TV here, but they did in the UK in 2012 at least still. And the YouTube comments that I was watching for the Precision Tunes version, they said that they like refused to play this version of the song on that episode of the show that week, even though they were in the top 10, that they just like skipped over that number. Thought that was a pretty unique story. Let's see. Hold on. Now you can. I did listen to it. They have it on YouTube. Let me pull it up real quick. Okay, I've got this pulled up here. We're gonna listen to just a couple seconds of this precision. I wonder if I'm gonna get flagged for putting this up. If like or if they're gonna think it's Maroon 5 version, or if they're gonna know it's Precision Tune, and I'll be fine using it. I'm at a payphone trying to call home all of my change I spent on you. I'm gonna find the rap real quick too, because it's in here. With a push of a button, telling me I changed it up or whatever you call it. Switch my number to my phone so you never could call it. Don't need my name on my shirt, you can tell it I'm balling. Swish, what a shame, could have got big. Not terrible, huh?
It's not terrible.
Honestly, the Adam Levine part's better because he's fucking annoying on this song in real life. He's like way in the back of his house. I hate this song. I had to learn this one for the Academy when I played at the Music Academy. One of the kids wanted to play this one, so I had to sing it for him. So I had to listen to this shit over and over again, learning the lyrics. As soon as I heard it again, I was like, oh my God, it drives me nuts. Okay, let's get on to number 3.
We Are Young by Fun, featuring Janelle Monáe. It was released on September 20th, 2011. It was number 1 for 6 consecutive weeks in the US. This was both Fun and Monáe's first charting single in the top 100.
It first blew up, actually, this is a weird way to the top for this one, was that it got used on Glee after first getting some attention on social media. So like it didn't really pop off for a while in terms of its chart success. It got used on Glee, which the Glee didn't usually do. I guess they were typically they would take popular songs, like old standards, old hits, classic shit, and do it for a new audience or whatever. Or just stuff that was really popular. Either way, tried and true songs. This was like an up and coming one, and that was kind of different for them to do. The actual single debuted on the same day as the airing of the Glee episode. Oh. So the Fun version charted at number 53. The Glee version charted at number 12. So another edition of a different version of the song doing better than the original artist, just like the last one with Payphone. So yeah, that's actually what like made them be big. And then it kept getting used in weird, like just media. It got used in a Chevy Sonic Super Bowl commercial. In 2012, it was also used on American Dad, Gossip Girls, 90210, Chuck. It was used in the WWE and on the trailer for the movie This Is 40, which I'll debut this year. It was the Grammy winner for Song of the Year. And when they won the Song of the Year, or they also won Best New Artist. And Nathaniel Ruiz, when he got up on stage to accept one of the awards, he said, I don't know what I was thinking writing the chorus for this song. If this is in HD, everybody can see our faces and we are not very young. He was only 30, so I thought that was funny. Like he wasn't a kid anymore, but he was 30, so I could see why you feel too old to be doing that when the rest of the kids are all 18.
Yeah, everyone who's chanting it's 18, 20.
Yeah, exactly. I liked Fun before this. Did you ever listen to The Format? That was his band prior.
Maybe.
Their big song was She Doesn't Get It. The one was like, all the girls pose the same for pictures. All the boys got the same girl's hair.
I don't know.
No, that one, I really liked that one back in the day. That was his band prior, and then I really enjoyed that song. So then he went on to be in Fun, and so I liked their first album, which was way different, very very unique music, very weird kind of experimentally sort of stuff. I enjoyed their first album, and then when this one came out, it was like, oh, this is a band that I liked a bit, and then they became just strictly a pop thing. They just wanted to make a good radio song, and so it was weird to see this band I'd been following for a while make it humongous, and I didn't like them at all anymore. I don't really care for this song very much. Not my cup of tea.
I think it's just like a hype song.
Yeah, it's just not that great.
Yeah.
Nathaniel has said the lyrics were inspired by a time he barfed all over a taxi from being really drunk. Oh, okay. Well, live that life.
Is that why you needed the payphone? Did he kick you out? Did you use a payphone before?
Yeah. One thing when I was researching this song, something that came up that I had never picked up on or ever heard before was people saying, so the guy in this song is like a domestic abuser, right? And so I had to like look up. So it's oh yeah, some guy at the bar is asking about a scar. And then the next line, because whatever, I just thought they were having a conversation. But then he says, I know I gave it to you months ago. And then he talks about like sorry is not good enough and stuff like that. So I guess, you can interpret it as just being like an emotional scar, I suppose. But he does say he gave her a scar and that the guy at the bar is asking her about it.
Yeah, sounds like a physical scar to me.
Yeah. I mean, unless it's, he goes, why are you so guarded? Why don't you let me in? I'm just a guy at the bar. Why are you being so emotionally guarded right now? You seem like you have emotional scars. Who gave this to you?
Oh, man, that's funny.
Okay, moving on to number 2. This is Call Me Maybe by Carly Rae Jepsen. Came out in Canada on September 20th of 2011. In the U.S., it debuted February 22nd of 2012. Carly Rae Jepsen's Canadian. Spent 9 weeks at the top, which is actually tied with the longest of any Canadian performer. It's tied with Percy Faith's 1960 theme from A Summer Place. So, the second time we've brought up the 1960 episode this week as well. Pretty weird. Yeah, and that's like an orchestral one. I vaguely remember that song.
Yeah, I remember that song.
She became only the 5th Canadian artist to top the Canadian charts since its inception in 2007. So it had been around for 5 years this time. She's only the 5th Canadian artist to hit the top there. Like, damn, you guys got to have some national pride.
You guys support your own, man. What are you guys doing?
The ones who hit it before her were Avril Lavigne, Nelly Furtado, and then Nikki Yanofsky, who wrote a song for the Olympics when they were in Toronto, and Young Artists for Haiti, which was a benefit thing for the Haiti earthquake. So really only 2 artists, like pure Canadian artists. One of them was to support the Olympics and the other one was to support Haiti. So they've really only ever come together for 3 artists ever. Avril Lavigne, Nelly Furtado, and Carly Rae Jepsen.
That is weird, man.
Isn't Justin Bieber Canadian? He didn't
he is Canadian. You're right.
Damn, you guys. Weird. Not that I think he's that great, but still, fuck.
There are other bands too. 3 Doors Down.
Yeah, like they have only been around since 2007, the Canadian charts.
Oh, okay.
So just still throw on an old record at that point. Fuck. Let's throw Percy Faith back on. Let's make him number 1. On the Billboard charts was the first Hot 100 by a Canadian female since 2007. Speaking of that, year again. And that was Girlfriend by Avril Lavigne. So no other Canadian woman had hit the top of the charts here since then. And then Carly Rae Jepsen came back in for it. The bestseller worldwide and on iTunes for the year 2012. Now, some of the acclaim for Call Me Maybe. I was surprised to find out people, like, critically, it did better than I thought it would have. Number 436 on Rolling Stone's 500 Greatest Songs of All Time. Number 8 on Billboard's 500 Best Pop Songs. So not like best performing, just best. They think this is number 8 of all the best pop songs. In terms of its commercial success, number 13 for the decade end charts, number 56 most successful song ever. Out of all songs ever released in America, Call Me Maybe is number 56. Which, surprising me. Like I said, at the time, I wrote this off as being sort of a novelty song. I thought it was silly. I didn't really ever even regard it necessarily as a full-on pop song. It really occupied the same space in my brain as Rebecca Black's Friday. And so I was also 20, so I just was, this is not for me. I didn't realize, everybody in the world liked this song. Like, people just regarded this as a good song. It wasn't really seen as that.
That's what I figured it was too. But yeah, I don't know. I guess it did way better than I had thought it was going to. It was on the radio a lot.
Yeah, it was.
It was like the feel good like anthem at the time.
Yeah, and Friday had come out just the year before. And so I don't know, there's something about like, hey, I just met you and this is crazy. It just seemed like, I don't know, like a dorky little kid song, but um, she wasn't like a little kid too. I also thought she was like a teen when she did this, but she was like in her 20s. So this is just a song, and she had written it initially as a folk song, I guess, and then just sort of changed it into a. And it makes, I don't know, some of the songwriting is actually kind of nice. I like the line, "Before you came into my life, I missed you so bad." That's a really good line.
Yeah, it is a good line.
It's really that's very touching, but yeah, it's sort of buried in the middle of this sort of funny pop song, but because it was supposed to be a folk song first. The way this one came up is pretty interesting as well. A lot of this year had a couple cool stories for stuff. While in Canada, Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez were like hanging out, I guess, and they heard the song on the radio and then promoted it on their Twitters. They were like, "Hey, we just heard this song and it's fucking great, so listen to it," to all their little fans. And that is what made the song huge. Just sort of promotion of them directly. Like, that would have been so cool to have been Carly Rae Jepsen, like having it promoted by these huge artists, and they made it world famous. I guess they also probably were like, "Hey, also listen to our songs. How about too? We made her number 2. We want to be number 1 instead, okay?"
Is help us out, throw us a bone.
Yeah. There also were a lot of people and famous people doing their own versions of this year. Justin Bieber, Selena Gomez, Ashley Tisdale, and Big Time Rush all posted together a parody version in February of 2012. Katy Perry and her friends did a parody version in April. The Harvard baseball team, the U.S. swimming team, forces in Afghanistan, and others all did lip sync versions of this song this year. And Cookie Monster had a version called "Share It Maybe." It also was Glee's season cookies. 4. Glee's season 4 premiere contained this song, so it got used a lot in different versions of media, which helped it just explode.
I forgot how popular Glee was.
Yeah, second time it came up this year. It was big. It was a big thing. Yeah, I didn't realize.
It's like it was outside of our age group, just barely though. Like,
I mean, I knew a lot of people who watched it.
I know, but that's true. But I think, well, as you know, we were like what 16 or something when it came out. We were like too cool.
Oh, was it that
stuff?
Yeah, I feel like it was. I don't really remember.
Maybe
I remember being in college and people liking it.
Remember, like maybe like 18.
I was gonna say, maybe
but it had to be somewhere around there.
Point. Yeah, we definitely were the wrong. It was not made for us. Just like this song wasn't made for us.
Yeah.
To speak on all of that, it's funny. I just haven't mentioned it yet, but I'm a huge Carly Rae Jepsen fan. Now, like her music that she's come out with in the years since, she makes really, really cool stuff. I've actually seen her live. I went and saw her when I lived in Wisconsin.
Oh, that's cool.
So I saw her perform this song, and it was fucking sick. One of the coolest experiences, because everyone there was there to see her because we were all fans of her new music. And she makes really cool, like, kind of dancey stuff. And this was a couple of years ago, and I everyone there really liked her current stuff. But then when she did Call Me Maybe, everybody knew that. And it was one of the few times I've seen a whole huge crowd of people know every single word to a song, and everybody's dancing, and every single of course the crowd like on the floor, but when I looked up, the balconies were all standing and going crazy, and everybody was, "I just met you." It was so much fun. One of the most fun songs I remember ever singing in a concert was that one.
I know what Trey is going to keep.
Possibly. Last thing I want to say about this one, I thought this was pretty funny. In her video for this song, the person that she's crushing on ends up liking a member of her band who's a boy. Like she has a crush on him the whole time, and then at the very end he's not into me, he's into this other guy in the band. It's not, it's just how she just thought the video should be. She just had the idea for that or whatever. So she since has like gone on to be like a queer icon. The gays love her, and she just made the video that's just the end of the video is that. The guy now, Holden Noel is his name. He played the guy. He wants the world to know he's not gay. He's like very adamant about that for some reason. He's like fucking. He kept a lot of quotes from this guy about how gay he isn't. But the one I want to make sure everyone knows, this is a quote directly from his mouth, says, "I'm not going to kiss a guy, especially for $500. So
$600 though.
Yeah, they didn't pay him enough. We'll see what you can get out of this guy for 1,000. But 500, he's not kissing a guy. We'll keep the checkbook open though. Holden might have some.
He's like, just because I live in West Hollywood and I got paid to be a gay guy doesn't mean I'm gay.
I'm not gay, everybody. You think people? I don't know. The one person he was trying to hit on a girl, and she was like, "Aren't you the gay guy from the video?" And he just the rest of his life. It's like, dude, you just gotta say.
He just constantly gets hit on by gay guys, and he's like, "Please stop."
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Also, don't be in the video, then, dude. You're that insecure. Hilarious. But just also, so if you are out there and you see him, make sure you got more than $500 on you if you want him to do anything, because he will. He has said he will do it for more money than that.
And make sure you ask him if he's gay or not.
If you don't have $500, just ask him. All right, let's get on to number one.
All right, number one, Somebody That I Used to Know by Gautier and Kimbra. Written and produced by Gautier, the song was released in Australia and New Zealand on the 5th of July of 2011 and January 20th in Ireland and the United States. January 20th, 2012 to be exact. It reached the top of the charts in Australia, New Zealand, United Kingdom, the United States, as well as 25 other official charts. As far as the Billboard charts, it was number one for 8 consecutive weeks, and it spent 59 weeks in the top 100. So this song frickin' killed it, to say the least. It was worldwide, all over the place. Nothing else came close this year.
Yeah, this song was ever. This is like one of the biggest one-hit wonders ever. This song was so huge and inescapable. It's hard to really explain how big this song was if you weren't around for it. I mean, I did get sick of it, I will say, at the time, and then in the intervening years, I haven't cared that much about it. I had to learn this one as well for that academy, and re-listening to it though actually was like this morning. Like the last time I re-listened to it was this morning, and this was the first time that upon this week and the re-listening that I was like, oh wait, this song kind of fucking rocks. I kind of forgot. I've just been sort of sick of it for the last 14 years, but this song is pretty cool, actually.
It is a good song. I really like this song. It's probably my favorite one on the top of the charts.
Yeah, it's pretty neat, actually. This is a really cool song. I did enjoy it. I thought it's really, despite me not loving the music, actually, when we get into it in a second, listening to this playlist wasn't my most fun time for 2012, but I like the top 5 a lot more than I thought I would. I think Lights is a really cool song. Payphone I hate really bad, and so do I also hate We Are Young, but Call Me Maybe's cool, and then Somebody That I Used to Know is a really cool song too. So the fact that this took home number one makes me very happy.
Yes, I agree.
Very neat song. It samples a couple things. It samples Luis Bonfa's Seville from 1967. It also samples A Child's Introduction to the Instruments of the Orchestra by Joseph Cooper and the Sinfonia of London from 1961. So a couple weird little things that are in there. That part of it is showing xylophone, like how the xylophone works, and it's playing Baa Baa Black Sheep. So that was something that a lot of people said about this song, is like, oh, it's basically just Baa Baa Black Sheep. It is. It actually is literally Baa Baa Black Sheep. He's just sampling Baa Baa Black Sheep. He sampled 2 very, very old things, and it was pretty neat. So this is Luis Bonfa's Seville from 1967. It's just like the very beginning, just sort of clipped and replayed over again. But here it is. So it's just that beginning that you're just like dun, 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 and then that just over. So that's pretty cool. I know I listened to this whole damn thing and found it.
Then there's the xylophone, which has wooden bars which you strike, and you can play a tune.
That's pretty cool.
The little bring, that's in this. That's crazy. It's like, oh, that's recognizable. You can hear that in there.
Dang, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, but it's like
it's like old. Yeah, it's stuff that's not like super popular anyway. I mean, besides Baa Baa Black Sheep, I guess.
It's hilarious to take such an old ass song like that and change it into something cool. And Yeah, and it is very. You hear those two things and you go, "Oh, I definitely hear it," but he just barely. I don't know. He does a really good job of putting those two things together. Could have totally just. I mean, also one of those weird things where you're like, you could have just written two bass notes back and back, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
But he did that instead. So it was really cool, really artistic way of doing it.
Yeah.
Very neat. And to find that, he had to have just been digging through, because that was at the end of that child's introduction to the orchestra video that we just watched. 15 minutes. He sat there and just listened to 15 minutes of this ancient thing of this guy explaining old instruments. Like, oh, is there anything I can use? Then he got to that. Like, wait a minute. Baba Black Sheep. Now this fucking slaps. Weird.
Or maybe that just stayed in his head and he's like, I like that. And one day he's like, yeah. I remember.
Yeah, this will go great with that 1 second introduction to that 67 Luis Bonfa song. Yeah, weird. This one also was given new life to younger children. They would know this one because it was sampled by Doechii in 2025 for the song Anxiety.
Okay.
That was really popular. Anxiety. Yeah, that one was really big last year. So that's why kids know this one. So got a new life. Despite Gautier just fucking disappearing off the face of the earth after this song.
That's all he needed to do.
That's it. Made the money and dipped.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you want to say about the top 5?
No, let's move on to the rest of the top 10.
Yes, let's do it.
All right. Number 6 is Glad You Came by The Wanted. Number 7 was Stronger, What Doesn't Kill You by Kelly Clarkson. We Found Love by Rihanna and Calvin Harris. Starships by Nicki Minaj. And number 10 is What Makes You Beautiful by One Direction.
Yeah, like I said, not my favorite bunch of songs.
No, a lot of these I remember being popular and things like that, but nothing I would ever put on.
I mean, a lot of these are the same song. Like We Found Love and Starships are like almost the same. We found love in a starships are meant to be. It's just a lot of din, 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 din. Every one of these songs has that. So many.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm just like even just like going through this list, it's just things I would never put on.
Let's see what's some fun stuff off this top 100. First of all, we got to say one that I'm surprised wasn't in the top 5. Truly, I'm not joking around when I say I really thought that Gangnam Style by Psy was going to be in the top 5. I thought for sure. That song was the song I heard that song way more than any of the rest of these songs.
That's true.
It was the most popular song, I thought.
When it came out, I thought it said Open Condom Style. I'm like, what?
That's funny. Listening to it this time, I thought, it's also another song that it's the same as, which did come out this year and did better, was Sexy and I Know It by LMFAO. They are like almost the same song. Oh, I'm sexy and I know it.
It's true.
They definitely flow into each other very well. I'm sure DJ's had a hell of a year this year.
Yeah, right?
Did you hear the last song on there? I'm sure there wasn't that many this week, but The Phone Call That Changed My Life by Farrah Abraham. She's one of the 16, what do you call it? 16 and pregnant or whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, teen moms that she would become on MTV. She was a teen mom, and this is like them trying to just capitalize on her fame, basically, as much as they could. This whole album is horrendous. It's so you cannot understate how shockingly bad this music is. She cannot carry a tune, and it's like she's crazily auto-tuned. Like they turned it up as high as they could, and then just lay her over some EDM songs that she's not in any sort of melody with at all. It's very, very, it's a shocking listen. She tried a couple different things to maintain some level of fame. She would end up dabbling in pornography after this as well.
Oh no.
Yeah. So she had a pretty sordid life after. Who would have thought that's where it would end up when you start off on 16 and pregnant.
Had so many other days planned for you. I still look forward to talking to you. I still pictured us together, yeah, the whole you and I forever.
Yeah, like I said, probably definitely one of the worst like pieces of music I've heard, to be honest. It's up there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, really, really bad. Like shockingly bad. And the whole I listened to a couple songs to pick which one I wanted to put on there. So there were some that were harder to listen to than that one. That was the one that made the cut. That one I at least thought was kind of funny. There were worse ones than that. Let's see. I have a little quick piece of information, some more science from this year. More bummer science news about music. Would you like to hear it?
Yes, please.
Spanish researchers analyzed what was called the Million Song Dataset. I don't know if that was a clever name or if it actually contained a million songs, but they used artificial intelligence and a bunch of fancy algorithms to study songs from 1955 through 2010. And they put all these songs through a bunch of algorithms and found that, mathematically speaking, pop songs have become intrinsically louder and more bland in terms of the chords they use and the melodies and types of sounds they use as well. So they are just like at a base level are being just played louder, like at the recording, as well as just not using interesting melodies. They're using more formulaic stuff. There's less of a difference between sounds. And also the timbre variety, which is like the different, like a piano has a different timbre than a guitar does. There's a less of a range of timbres that are being used as well. So most of the instruments sound the same, just scientifically speaking.
I feel like I could have told you that.
Yeah. I mean, it's like obviously, but it's one of those things that you go, well, at least it's not just all in my head and I'm not just an old fart here saying, I think music sounds the same and is not good anymore, right?
Yeah.
Science told us this year. No, that's true.
Okay.
You are getting old, and that's true. Also, drinking red wine isn't good for your heart.
Damn it.
And eating red meat is going to give you cancer.
And weed
That
makes
all
you
does.
stupid, people.
Yeah. All the
Read a
stuff that we
book.
knew, but we were all hoping wasn't true. Science confirmed all of it this year. So that's just a little bummer that I had to say. Okay. Well, that's pretty much it for the music. I had one more song I wanted to talk about just because it leads into our music section.
Cool.
That is the song. Most people know this one. This is one of the ones that definitely a lot of this music has held over, but one of the ones that I think people would still recognize a lot is Young, Wild, and Free by Snoop Dogg and Wiz Khalifa. Also featuring Bruno Mars. I never noticed that it was him in the chorus singing. Did you?
No.
So what? We get drunk. That's Bruno Mars singing that.
Oh, really? No, I did not
I always
know
thought
that.
it was Wiz Khalifa and Snoop Dogg, like a chorus of people. I didn't know it was Bruno Mars. I mean, there are a couple other voices mixed in, but they did not highlight him enough. Like one of the best singers we have in the industry today to like not let him sing very much on that is weird. I've heard that song a million times. Never knew that was him. Anyway.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah, I thought it was so weird. I was looking at it and said, featuring Bruno Mars, where? Oh, whoa, yeah, he's the singer. Damn, I didn't know that. So that was weird. But anyway, that song is from a movie, which I didn't know. It was like that was from their movie. I kind of vaguely recognize it. I ended up watching it this week. Mac and Devin Go to High School. Did you ever see that? Do you remember that being a thing?
Yes, I do remember that with Snoop Dogg.
I forgot about it. Yeah. It's Wiz Khalifa and Snoop Dogg playing high schoolers, which is hilarious because Wiz was like 20 and Snoop Dogg was 40 something. He was like 49, and he just plays like a 15 years senior. I think they said he's been in high school for 15 years, and I was like, still, he would have been in high school for like 25 years. You guys are not giving him enough of a years thing here, but I never noticed there are lyrics in the song that reference the plot of the movie. I thought that was so weird. I've heard that song 100 times. Never noticed Bruno Mars and never noticed that he keeps calling him Mac throughout the song. I guess I just thought he was saying like Mac Daddy or whatever. You know, I didn't pick up that he was calling his character's name. Snoop's character's name is Mac in the movie, Mac and Devin.
Yeah.
And so when he calls him Mac, he's referring to him as that. And there's a part where they say like they made their little formula or something like that. They did something with THC and they made their formula or something in the lyrics. And I mean, he does say that he's a class clown. He skipped for the day because it's all about high school. So there's a little bit of that. I feel like Snoop Dogg's verse makes a little bit more sense where he's like, you know what? It's like I'm 17 again. Peach fuzz on my face because he's talking about being in high school. But where is the stuff that like really THC MAC DEV HD3. So THC MAC Mac DEV Dev. I never understood why he was saying MAC DEV. He's just saying the names of the characters.
Yeah, it makes sense now.
And the THC, because like in the movie they create some. That was like their science project is some stupid thing about THC and like making a scientific invention. It's dumb. It was a really dumb movie. It was really bad. But
yeah, I don't remember it that much because it was stupid. But
oh, did you see it?
Yeah, I've seen it before.
Oh wow, I had never seen it before. Yeah, it was really, really bad. But yeah, I watched it for this week. I had never seen it, and the whole time I kept going, "Oh my gosh, that song makes so much more sense now," because it's used in the movie a couple times.
Yeah,
but yeah. So that's funny little thing that we used to see a lot more a long time ago. So it's kind of interesting to see that there's not too often is there a song that's like directly from a movie like that makes it really big anymore. You'd see it in like the 60s. But they're like calling each other their characters' names in this like popular radio song. That's pretty unique. Well,
speaking of movies,
yeah, perfect transition into the world of movies. We are going to discuss movies right now. That's what we're about to get into. First thing we're going to do is talk about the number one movie at the box office domestically for the year 2012. And this one should come as no surprise to anybody. I think number one is going to be The Avengers. It came out May 4th of 2012. May 4th. I wonder if they did that on purpose. At this point, it was not a Disney thing, really. Well, it kind of was. Weird. We'll talk about that later. The director of this film is Joss Whedon. Screenplay, also Joss Whedon. The story was by Joss Whedon along with his buddy Zach Penn. I don't know if they're friends. I just said that. I started saying that. This stars Robert Downey Jr. and his buddy Chris Evans, as well as Scarlett Johansson, Mark Ruffalo, Chris Hemsworth, Jeremy Renner, and Tom Hiddleston. That was the credit order, in case you were curious as to what order they're billed in. I think first two makes sense. Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans. Then going to Scarlett Johansson. She's definitely the next biggest star, especially at the time, but Black Widow is not that big of a character in this movie, so that's a little weird.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mark Ruffalo. I also feel like the Hulk is kind of an afterthought character. Chris Hemsworth, that's probably who I'd say is third. Jeremy Renner.
I would agree with that.
And then Tom Hiddleston. Actually, strike that. I'd say Tom Hiddleston's third.
Yeah.
I would go Tony Stark, Captain America, Loki, then Thor, then probably Scarlett Johansson, Jeremy Renner, and Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah. I think it's weird that Samuel L. Jackson's not even in the lineup.
Good point, actually. Yes, you're right. Those are all the names I was given. You're right. It should go Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Samuel L. Jackson, Clark Gregg, and then the rest of these people can come in. Clark Gregg plays Agent Coulson. I think he should be in there. He's in the movie more than the rest of these people.
He is. And you know what? I didn't realize how much of a significant role he had in this franchise.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's basically the star of the TV show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that came out afterwards. And it was a pretty popular show. I think my mom liked it a lot. Like, people who were really into Marvel did enjoy that show and stuff. And Phil Coulson is a very, very big thing for people who like Marvel and follow along with it.
Oh, okay.
Because he pops up all the time. He's in so many of these movies and shows and stuff. Because he survives past this movie. Spoiler alert, we'll get into that too. Budget for this film was $220 million. The gross in 2012 was $623 million. Synopsis here is coming from marvelcinematicuniverse.fandom.com. When an unexpected army emerges that threatens global safety and security, Nick Fury, director of the international peacekeeping agency known as S.H.I.E.L.D., finds himself in need of a team to pull the world back from the brink of disaster. Spanning the globe, a daring recruitment effort begins. Which is funny, actually. I guess this is more about them pulling the team together than the team doing something. The purpose of this movie is we need to get these guys together, and then they end up saving the day by the end of it. But so much of it is them just fighting each other for so long.
Yeah, that's true. I thought this was a lot more interesting than, especially after seeing all the other Avengers movies and stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, actually, this one was really good.
It was really good. Yeah, it was much, much better than I remembered it being. I think one of my big complaints back then was, coming from, I loved comic books. I thought this one was a little too gray. I say that about a lot of comic book movies, but they've only gotten worse as time has gone on. This one, it's like most of it takes place on a helicarrier, so it's all silver there, and then it takes place in a dark forest, so it's all dark, and then it takes place in a city, so it's all just gray buildings and concrete. They're never in a fun, fancy location or like they are in the sky on the helicarrier. That's kind of neat, but it just is everything feels very sterile throughout a lot of this one. That being said, though, it's not color graded to hell like the new movies are, where everything's got a blue tint over it and everything looks lame and so washed out and the same. This one had a lot of vibrancy to the colors to it, I think.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Like them being in the Avengers Tower, Stark Tower and stuff, and just, the environments inside at least have a lot of life to them.
Yeah.
Shall we get into some of the background stuff? Usually I'll talk about some casting things first, but let's talk about the directing up top. Jon Favreau was approached or considered, I guess, first, which is sort of interesting to see he didn't get this one because he's such a big part of the MCU. Sam Mendes was also considered. It's kind of an interesting one. But Joss Whedon seems like, that makes a lot of sense. It landed on someone who it really made sense with. But Sam Mendes, I guess, got a package from Marvel that only contained a bunch of comic books and a note that said it would be released on May 3rd of 2012. Not a script, not an idea of what the movie was, or even like, here's our plan for anything. It just said it's going to be released on this date. And like, you could be a part of it. And he was like, I don't think I want to do this. So he didn't go forward with it. One of the biggest casting things here is Edward Norton, I guess, would be the obvious thing. Because he plays the Hulk in the Hulk movie that led up to this. He's the only person at this point who's not reprising his role, I believe. Because, Rhodey isn't in this one. I know they replaced Terrence Howard with Don Cheadle in the Iron Man movies too, but I think this was before that. So Edward Norton plays the Hulk in 2008's The Incredible Hulk. He's obviously absent here, is replaced by Mark Ruffalo. I never actually really knew what it was. I'd heard a couple different stories about what occurred, and it kind of feels like now, with the benefit of hindsight, Edward Norton is sort of like the guy who Marvel painted him in a bad light, it seemed. They try to kind of like say he was being greedy or he was hard to work with and stuff like that. I always heard it was like a money thing. I guess on the original Hulk movie, Ed Norton rewrote much of the script for the movie, which he's like known to do. During production, he was making rewrites. He wanted there to be less action and wanted there to be a longer runtime, and the director was on his side. And he and the studio were clashing the whole time. They wanted more action. They wanted it to be shorter. He was going for a more character-driven thing. They just kept butting heads. And that's sort of what led to the decision to leave him off. Marvel boss Kevin Feige, however you say his name, he said, "Our decision is definitely not one based on monetary factors, but instead rooted in the need for an actor who embodies the creativity and collaborative spirit of our other talented cast members. The Avengers demands players who thrive on working as part of an ensemble, as evidenced by Robert, Chris H., Chris E., Sam, Scarlett, and all of our talented casts. We are looking to announce a name actor who fulfills these requirements and is passionate about the iconic role in the coming weeks." So they just outright said, he's not a team player. Is what they essentially said in that.
He doesn't agree with me.
He's not willing to submit.
Yeah.
Be like Captain America and follow orders. Norton said this about Marvel: "I experimented and experienced what I wanted to. I really, really enjoyed it. I think you can sort of do anything once, but if you do it too many times, it can become a suit that's hard to take off." So that was like kind of a fun quote to say the suit line too.
Yeah.
In there and be like, I didn't want to get typecast as a hero for the rest of my days.
Mm-hmm.
And so he wasn't really interested in continuing on with the role, I guess, too. He thought
I didn't think of this as a continuation of that though.
Yeah, I think they were planning for this to be part of that, because that was the same year that Iron Man would release.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be the first stepping stone. But they kind of just brushed it under the rug. There also is, I've never seen it, but I know in the end credits scene, it might have been deleted, but they very much at least planned for it to be a part of it, was that you see Captain America's shield under the ice when the Hulk is like in the North Pole or something at the very end of the movie. So it was going to tie. They were alluding to the fact that there's going to be a Captain America movie coming out soon. So it was part of the plan, but ultimately it just didn't work out. So Norton says he kind of was over it. Marvel says he wasn't a team player. It seems like it worked out best for both of them, I think.
Yeah.
He got to do a couple more fun movies this year, actually. We'll talk about later. The Hulk's voice, to speak about the casting of the Hulk, it contains elements of Lou Ferrigno, who played the Hulk in the old TV show. The bodybuilder. He's like his part of him screaming is inside of, it's like mixture of a couple different voices, and he's one of the voices that's in there. So he actually is still playing the Hulk. Yeah, I thought that was neat. Agent Hill, who will be played by Colby Smulders, was screen tested by Mary Elizabeth Winstead and Morena Baccarin, as well as Amanda Peet. She was considered for the role. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, she's gone on to do a couple comic book movies since then. Scott Pilgrim versus the World and Birds of Prey. Joss Whedon wanted Zooey Deschanel to play the Wasp in an early version of the script that would have included Ant-Man and the Wasp in it, but they ended up getting written out, so no Zooey Deschanel here. Jensen Ackles was the producer's first choice for Hawkeye, but he turned it down because he was doing Supernatural.
Sure he regretted that, because that didn't go on much longer, did it?
Probably not. Yeah, probably not. But that show was like so big for him, and like that is what made him I think he probably did right. He probably has more longevity to his career because he stayed true to his fans.
Yeah, that's true too.
Because I mean, he's still doing stuff. Man, that guy looks the same. It's wild.
He plays on The Boys.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it in a while, but I know he does.
Natalie Portman was supposed to be in the movie, at least for a second, like cameo as Jane Foster, but she was pregnant at the time, so she was not involved in this one. That's why she doesn't turn up. But it's kind of one of those things that then I think as a Marvel movie watcher, you have to be like, why isn't Jane Foster here? Yeah, and you have to start like making up reasons or something. I thought this was funny about the cast. Stellan Skarsgård, Chris Evans, Mark Ruffalo, and Scarlett Johansson were all born on June 13th.
Oh, what the heck?
Yeah, pretty weird. There's a lot of people on this
fat
cast.
Party or what?
Probably. The birthday paradox is really interesting. Where like if you have more than, I can't remember the exact number, but it's a very, very small number of people in the same room, the chances of two people sharing the birthday is extremely high. Look it up, folks. It's very interesting. But so I mean, a movie set, there's lots and lots of people on them. I'm sure there were tons on this one. So the odds of a couple people sharing a birthday are pretty high, but that still, I'm sure, beats those odds because that's a lot of people.
Robert Downey Jr. kept hiding food all over the sets. And nobody could find where he was hiding it, so they just let him do it all the time. And in the scene where he's arguing with Captain America, like in the lab, and he offers him blueberries, it's because he's actually eating blueberries, and it wasn't like in the script or anything.
That's so funny. Man, Robert Downey Jr. seems like he just had the best time you could have had as an actor making this movie. That he just was like given free reign to do whatever the fuck he wanted here, and gets to just put stuff all over the set and like improv throughout the movie. A couple of his lines that he improved, I guess, were, "Let's not just come in tomorrow." Like at the end, once they're, let's just not come in tomorrow. "Doth mother know you weareth her drapes" was an RDJ original. "That man is playing Galaga." That one was also one that he made up.
Nobody thought he noticed, but we did.
Yes, that was he had a couple good improvs that are like pretty well remembered. And then, not to get outdone, because improv was encouraged on the whole set, not just for Robert. Mark Ruffalo improved Hulk yelling at Iron Man's face to wake him up at the end. I was like, that was good. That was pretty funny. That was one of the parts that made me laugh. I was still this movie is it's right on the edge of being a little, especially now, like hindsight's a little millennial cringe a little bit, some of the humor. I feel that way about much of Marvel. It gets worse and worse as it goes on. This one, there still is a lot of fun stuff, but there's a little bit of it that kind of feels like, all right, that was for mom,
Yeah.
Like him, like I can remember people when Hulk like smashes Loki over and over again, and it goes "puny god," and everyone's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
That kind of stuff is a little. Now, I have a little bit of an eye roll when I watch it, but it's also made for kids, so
Yeah.
I'm not mad at it, but like I said, some of it's a little on the edge for me. This was originally part of a 6-picture deal between Paramount and Marvel, actually. So it's Paramount that appears in the opening credits and not Disney, because this was prior to Disney taking over Marvel.
Oh, yeah.
And there's no mention of Disney in the movie at all until right in the closing credits. It says the Avengers is distributed by Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures. That's the only tie to Disney this movie has. So Disney did distribute it. Yeah, but they kind of after the fact got involved. So this was still a Paramount movie. I thought that was pretty weird. Yeah, Disney hadn't taken over the whole world quite yet. So that's what I was saying earlier with the May the 4th. I thought, maybe they May the 4th be with you because they own Star Wars too, but this was right when they were coalescing everything and they were putting all their chess pieces in order still.
Yeah.
So they might have done that. May the 4th be with you.
When that happened, it made sense to me because it was okay, Disney started in the 30s ish, maybe a little bit before. And it was well, you guys' licensings are all going to be done after 100 years.
Yeah.
So if you guys don't start 10, 15, 20 years before all that stuff happens, you guys aren't going to have much of a company in 50 years.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So everybody was really upset about Disney doing all that stuff. But to me, it made sense.
Yeah.
Because what are you going to do once you lose Mickey and Goofy and Donald and Daisy? And you know what I mean?
I better scoop up this other shit that was made 20 years after the fact.
Yeah, buy you
superheroes
some
that are
time.
made from the 40s.
Yeah.
It's not like these are brand new things, but
no, but it'll buy you time.
Buy
years, more stuff later,
I have just a couple of different. I didn't get a ton of trivia stuff about this. I just mostly was just watching it and enjoying the movie, I guess. But Agent Coulson's death originally gave the film an R rating. They had to re-edit it because initially the blade was shown coming out of his chest, and they thought that was too intense for kids, so they gave it an R rating, and they had to keep editing it down and making it less scary, I guess, and less gruesome. So that was almost the first R-rated Marvel movie.
Dang.
Joss Whedon actually was the one who just he said Loki should be doing this all under the orchestration of a bigger villain. It shouldn't just be Loki's doing this. He should be being told what he needs to be doing. And that should be something that you guys work into the rest of these. And Marvel was like, all right, sure, why not? Who do you think? And he said it should be Thanos. So Joss Whedon came up with the idea of Thanos being at the end. He looks way different than he would end up looking later on. He looks a little bit closer to the comic book, kind of. He's a weird looking Thanos though. But man, that's crazy that then Endgame so many years later was set up here.
Yeah.
That they've been doing that the whole time.
And it wasn't the end of the game either.
Yeah, I haven't seen a Marvel movie in a while. I'm not at least not keeping up with them anymore.
No, I think after Endgame is when I stopped. Then they started making TV shows, spin-offs, and I was like, I can't keep up with all this.
Okay, I don't know. I guess I'm pretty good. I think people know. We don't have to go too far into plot and stuff like that on this one.
Well, and then there's a lot, like we talked about, there's a lot building up to it. There's a handful of movies before this. There's dozens of movies after this. So it's a long progression to lead up to this, even just this part. And this is just the first chapter, really.
I think that if there was a different world in which this was the end of Marvel, really, they hadn't kept on going. Maybe they did another show. Maybe Robert Downey Jr. isn't the most well-paid actor of all time for playing a superhero. For silly, kind of silly. He's that esteemed for this. Maybe we don't keep going for these movies for the next 20 years. Maybe this is it and this is the end for the most part. I think the world would have been a lot better place. I feel like we would have had a lot more variation in what's going on nowadays.
Yeah, that's true.
But it still is neat. I've always been a comic book fan. It was cool to see them become that popular, but I don't know. I don't really think anything should be that popular, I guess. I don't think any one thing should be something everybody in the world likes. That's weird to me.
Yeah.
Okay, let's rate this unless you got anything else you want to say about it.
I don't think so.
on a scale of 2012 reindeer games. He calls Loki reindeer games at one point.
It's pretty good.
I guess that'll do. That's fine. That's good enough, I suppose. All right, out of 2012 reindeer games, I'm going to give this one 1,691 reindeer games.
I'm going to go 1,732 reindeer games. I like this more than I thought I was going to. That's why I give it a little higher score.
It was just one of these superhero. I think with time passing and being a little bit fatigued on all these superhero movies, I keep expecting to go back and not liking a lot of these, but they end up being enjoyable. So, yeah, whatever. It was good. Good enough movie. Fine time at the theater this week. But let's talk about what else came out in 2012.
Right off the bat, the second highest rating movie this year was The Dark Knight Rises. So keeping in the comic book world, people couldn't get enough.
Yeah, there was two different series, two different companies, both coming out with top sellers. That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
The Amazing Spider-Man, we mentioned that earlier, the Carl's Jr. hamburger thing. Amazing Spider-Man would come out this year. I rewatched the first Hunger Games.
Oh, yeah?
I hadn't seen that in a while. It was pretty good. Actually, I remember, that's another one. They kept coming out with those movies over and over again. And rewatching the first one's like, this one's really good, actually.
Yeah, the first one is good. I don't think I watched many of the other ones, but I like the first one.
I've seen them all at least once, even the newest one. I think they're doing another one too, or they maybe just did one. I didn't see it, but I know when they did this song of something, I watched that one. Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I did see that one. Skyfall came out this year, and the James Bond franchise, The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey, and Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2 ended off the Twilight series. That was interesting that Twilight was ending the same year that Hunger Games was starting. I thought there was more of a crossover than that. Some period pieces that were pretty big. Les Mis, Lincoln, and then Django Unchained.
I love Lincoln. I've
never seen Lincoln.
It's so good. It's a great
I've heard that Daniel Day-Lewis wouldn't break character and would text people as Abraham Lincoln. Like, Abraham, you're in character? Texting as Lincoln? Not everyone is, what am I holding? What is this? What's going on? You said Argo and Flight, Silver Linings Playbook, Life of Pi was really big at the time.
I never saw that one.
I thought it was dumb.
I know it was really popular.
Yeah,
wasn't a visual thing? Wasn't another one of those visual look a little
yeah, sort of like Avatar. Yeah, that was the big part of it. It was cool seeing it in theaters. It was neat, but the story of it's kind of wasn't. Whatever. I mean, yeah, sad, but at the end of it, I just was like, oh, whatever. Prometheus in the sci-fi stuff. A couple good sci-fi movies this year. Prometheus and Dread. Both of those I watched this week. Prometheus, as it started, I was like, this is better than I remembered it being. And then halfway through, I was like, no, this is exactly how I remembered it being. It's drags, and they don't really answer any questions. They keep bringing up new shit. And I'm like, another weird villain? Just stick to one. Damn.
Yeah.
Did you ever see Dredd? It's like the Judge Dredd.
I don't think I ever did. No.
Oh, Carl Urban from The Boys as well. Another Boys actor came up this year.
No,
that one's pretty cool. I rewatched it. It's really sick. Really cool movie. A couple of, two sci-fis and the one that's not really sci-fi related. That kind of leans into the next thing. But all of these starring, what's the guy's name? Taylor Kitsch, right? Is that his name? John Carter and Battleship and Savages. All three of these movies were supposed to be huge blockbusters, and all of them ended up bombing. Well, specifically John Carter and Battleship.
Yeah, they were trying to go off the nostalgia of the game. I didn't think that movie was going to be good. I remember John Carter not being terrible.
No, it wasn't. It was okay. It's not great, but it was just a bomb. It just nobody went and saw it. That was the thing. They put so much. Both of those, they put tons of money into it. And they're like, Taylor Kitsch is going to be the next action star, and he just bombed the fuck out of two movies in a row. And then Savages also didn't do great. It wasn't a huge thing, but it also was not very well received. So he just they were like, this guy's the next big star. And everyone was like, no, he's not. Get out of here with these stupid movies. Savages, though, reminds me a lot of Spring Breakers, which came out this year. Hate that movie.
I've never seen it.
Terrible. Project X also came out this year. I never saw that.
Yeah, I remember that.
I remember people liking it. Just like a party. That's basically all it is, right?
Yeah.
Edward Norton, he didn't do Avengers this year, but he did come out in Moonrise Kingdom, which is a really, really awesome movie. I love that movie.
No, I've never seen it.
You haven't? It's a Wes Anderson movie, like about a little boy and a little girl who basically just run away together and like go live in the woods. He's a Boy Scout, and she's comes from like a little bit of a rich family, like kind of Cape Cod sort of people. They're like preteens, and they just go off and camping in the woods and stuff. It's a really, really good movie. Great movie. Pitch Perfect was a comedy that came out this year, and that was huge.
Yes, for sure.
Very, very big movie for the year. Everybody was doing the cups thing. That's really popular.
Dark Shadows. I remember that being popular. It's the movie they made about the TV show.
Yeah. It's like that Tim Burton crowd. They always love it. Like that was definitely one of those ones where it was like, you have to admit this is not good. You can't be on board with this one, you guys. Like
they were.
I know. I think they're all varying degrees of not very good. Those types of movies that are Johnny Depp, Tim Burton things. That's the worst one.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
You have to be like, this is not good, man. All right, I gotta. What are you guys doing? Calm down. Do something different than this. 21 Jump Street came out this year, also starring Johnny Depp in a little tiny role in it at the very end. That's one of my favorite comedies ever, really. I think that is such a fantastic movie. Both of them, 21 and 22 Jump Street, but they're both great. I kind of like the second one more, actually. But
I like them both. They're both really good movies.
Ted came out this year, also surprisingly really good comedy.
Yeah.
Seth MacFarlane movie.
The show's really good, too.
Oh, I've heard the show's good. I haven't seen it.
Dude, the show's really good. You gotta give it some support because they're probably not going to make another season.
Yeah, my brother said they canceled it, which I was like, well, I mean, I feel like that show started a long time ago. Isn't that kid like older than Mark Wahlberg now? Damn.
It's right. But they said it was too much money to make it, to animate the bear.
I mean, they could do whatever they want if people are watching it.
True.
But if people aren't watching it, you can't do anything, I guess. That's My Boy. I remember really liking that movie and being like one of a few people who did, because most people hated that one. And I'm like, I usually don't like Adam Sandler movies, and I thought that one was pretty funny. Two movies I saw the premiere of this year in 2012. I actually went to the premiere of Seven Psychopaths and The Details were two movies that my sister used to go on this website called GoFobo, and you'd get like tickets to go to LA to all these movie premieres.
Oh, and I remember when you would do that.
Yeah, so actually Seven Psychopaths was sick because like Christopher Walken is in that movie, and Colin Farrell and Tom Waits, and just Woody Harrelson, just so many cool people in that movie. So that was a really, really cool premiere to go see. And then The Details is a really weird movie I have not ever heard of since. I saw it streaming somewhere recently. It's the first time I was like, oh yeah, The Details. I saw that when it premiered, and it's got Tobey Maguire in it. But it was cool because I ended up getting separated from the group I came with. They were like, sorry, you got to go sit by yourself. There's not enough seats for you in that section. I was like, oh, that sucks. So I was just sitting by myself watching this weird movie. And then afterwards, my sister was like, I can't believe you were sitting right next to Sarah Chalke from Scrubs. And I was like,
oh, shit.
I said, I was? And she said, yeah. She was like right next to you, like with the one or two chairs over from you. The whole movie was just sitting right there. We were all like, man, can you believe it? He's right there. I was like, I didn't know. The whole time I was just sitting there mad watching this movie alone. I was like, oh, I'm so bummed I wasn't sitting with you guys. And they're like, we were bummed we weren't sitting where you were. Damn.
Yeah. Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was a bummer. So I could have like met her, but didn't.
Yeah.
More, let's get into the kids stuff, I guess.
Oh, a lot of good kids movies that came out this year.
Yes, there are lots of good ones.
Brave, The Lorax.
That's a good one.
And Paranorman.
That's weird. Paranorman and Frankenweenie both came out. Those movies are very similar to me.
Yes.
Like claymation, spooky, weird, kind of offbeat shit for kids. It's weird to see those both at the same time.
You expect those to be like Tim Burton claymation stuff, but I don't think either of them are, right?
Oh yeah, these are. But they're not.
No,
Tim
they're
Burton,
not.
But
they're not Tim Burton though. They're
Frankenweenie was a
but...
Tim Burton thing.
That's what it is.
His first film actually was like when he was a youngster was called Frankenweenie, and it was a black and white movie that he made about a dog that came back to life. So this was Disney like making his movie that he'd done a long time ago, but animated style and a full length. Speaking of claymation, though, The Pirates in an Adventure with Scientists. Did you ever see that one? It's like it's the Wallace and Gromit team made it. So it's got that kind of style to it.
No,
and it's it's Hugh Grant stars as like a pirate captain, and he's like not very good. And it's really, really, really cool movie. I love that movie, but it's like weird. It's so strange and like it's called The Pirates in an Adventure with Scientists, like making you think, is this the a TV show, but this is the movie? No, this is it. This is the whole thing. This is the only time these pirates have ever existed, but it's cool. A really, really neat little movie. Also, Hotel Transylvania came out this year. That was humongous.
Oh, yeah.
Really bad. I never liked that one, but I know people love that.
Adam Sandler's highest grossing movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense, I guess. Kids' movies always do well. Two other ones that came out that were really similar, I was surprised to see these were the same year, was Mirror, Mirror and Snow White and the Huntsman. Both like alternate takes on Snow White. That was pretty strange. I thought that one with Kristen Stewart and the other one with Julia Roberts. She plays the evil queen.
Oh, okay.
Like, I remember those both coming out. I didn't realize they were both the same year, though. Interesting.
Yeah.
And then some horror movies. The Cabin in the Woods. Fucking all-time great horror movie. Love that movie. Really good, like, subversive take on the genre. Sinister, also one of the scariest horror movies, in my opinion. One of the few times I've watched a horror movie and been like, oh, fuck, the whole time. I was like, oh, don't look at that. Like, why are you by yourself? The whole movie, I was just like all on edge. And that doesn't happen to me. So, and then I watched for the first time this week Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
And I remember when that came out, and I was like, right, and the two with Lincoln right there with
yeah, weird. But I was really, really expecting this to be a lot more fun. This movie was just not. The beginning of it, I was like, this is cool, I like this, all right, and then just kept going. I was like, damn, it had one of the worst scenes I've seen in a long time, where there's like a part where he's chasing a vampire through a herd of stampeding horses, and it's just a CGI mess. And this cloud of horses that are just like infinite forever. Like, what is this herd? 1 million horses strong? Why do none of them stop? At one point, one of the vampires throws a horse at Abraham Lincoln. He gets knocked over, then gets back up. Like, he's not smushed and just
dead.
A streak on the ground with a horse thrown at him. It's a terrible movie. Just so bad. And then another movie I watched for the first time this week was a documentary that I've always been interested in seeing. I always see it pop up on lists of documentaries. Jiro Dreams of Sushi. Have you ever heard of that?
Mm-mm.
It's about an 85-year-old man who's like a sushi master in Japan, and just talks about his life and how he's gotten there, and his philosophies on life. It sort of examines his relationship with his son, who's taking over the business and stuff like that. And I was a little let down by it, because I've just heard how great it was for so long. I was kind of expecting to walk away from it feeling altered and like different viewpoint on life. And I just thought it was it was mildly interesting to see how this guy and his son's dynamic plays out, I guess. But other than that, I didn't really care.
You don't learn anything.
No, his thing kind of came down to like, oh, we just fucking take our time making sushi, and we do it simply, and it's simple ingredients, but blah, blah, blah. I just sort of thought, I don't even know that I think this guy necessarily is like that incredible of a sushi maker, to be honest. I think that he seems sort of run of the mill. I don't know. But what do I know? So come at me in the comments. I'm sure someone's going to say I'm wrong.
You don't even know sushi, dog.
Sushi actually was invented in... All right. Well, that's about it for the movies. Altogether, this year didn't have a lot of really strong stuff. So we got to pick something, though. What are we going to save from the year 2012 to carry with us on into the future and let everything else disappear and crumble to dust in our hands like oh so many Spider-Men in the arms of Robert Downey Jr.? That would come later.
I am going to save Gravity Falls.
Oh, good one. That's a good thought. Oh, you know what's something I just should mention? I almost forgot. I almost signed off this whole episode before I ever forgot to say this. That the shirt I'm wearing. It didn't come up because I forgot to say it in the sports section. WrestleMania this year, I'm wearing a WrestleMania shirt that's got The Rock and John Cena.
Oh, hell yeah.
The shirt actually has Stone Cold, but I just covered up his face to make him John Cena because you can't see him. So there you go. I watched their match between the two of them. It's funny. It was billed as once in a lifetime. Like that was the tagline: Rock versus Cena, once in a lifetime. They faced off against each other the next year too. Hilarious to say once in a lifetime. They're like, not even once in a 2-year span. Okie dokie. Though that's not what I'm saving. I'll say that much. Freaking, what am I gonna save? I am going to save the Dirty Heads album from this year. The Cabin by the Sea by the Dirty Heads. That was such a huge deal in our friendship group. We would just play that shit all the time. It's like the soundtrack to this year of my life, kind of, was Cabin by the Sea. So I'm definitely going to have to save that one.
It's a good one.
I'm spread way too thin.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Starting off on the wrong foot. They call it Mungo pushing. You better dance all night. It's a great album, dude.
It is a good album.
You gotta make it right. Yeah, dude. I'm gonna have to put that back on. Till we all fall down. I don't.
Well, you can now. We still have it.
Yeah. Usually I save some weird movie. Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter let me down, so that didn't get saved. All right, that's about it for the year 2012. It was a nostalgic look. It was a frightening look, I gotta say, and it's one of those ones where I think, in hindsight, I'm happy about I remember when I was back then, I was afraid the world was going to end. I didn't like entertain that too much, but it was in the back of my mind. What if the Mayans were right? I was a little nervous. So it's one of those things that at the time I was afraid to be there, but now when I look back on it, I think we both have the same thought, which is that we wish we were then.